Yo, Fam North.
Volcano Beast, what's the deal?
Darian Mixers, how you feeling?
And
Yo,
y'all in
welcome to
man.
the
Y'all
stew.
with us. Let's go,
Yeah.
man. Yes, we back in it. How everything been for you, man, this past week? What y'all been up to?
Man, I've been good, bro. I just found out that that tap tempo's in Studio One.
It's funny. Like, found out like immediately after we was making fun of it. If I would have downloaded my phone and I downloaded it, but I didn't install it. If I would have installed it and played around with it, then I would have saw it was in there, but whatever.
Yeah, immediately. I just started getting text messages.
Claps to Studio One for that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I
definitely.
gotta
heard
check
us.
out Studio One soon.
Yeah, that's love, man. So, what you been? Any dope music like you mixed or came across this week? Like just listen to anything.
Man, I was checking out
It's not the mix of the week, but just like something
Yeah,
you
true.
just hit you.
I was checking out this band called Honey Honey. My guy Shy Ill, man. Shout out Shy Ill, man. He put me onto this band called Honey Honey with the song Ohio. It's
Okay.
a 2-piece band. That's it. Nuts, man. You gotta check it out. It's nuts.
He showed me a little of it. It sound amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Like,
Yes,
just
they was actually on
amazing.
the Joe Rogan show,
Okay.
and he recorded them live with the SM7s. It was wonderful,
That's
bro.
crazy.
It was dope.
Yeah, it was one band. I mixed them. I mixed live. The Drew Hale band, they pretty dope, man. Shouts out. I mixed them live. up
How many
at
pieces?
Old Crow. 5.
All right.
It's a
what was your
country
mic
bar, man.
technique for
Yeah,
them
I
drums?
mic'd everything, man. For the drums, kick snare, hi-hat. I didn't use overheads because the room is kind of small, so it's gonna be crazy. Like I was running in headroom issues anyway, so no point of putting more through the system.
Okay.
So I just got kick snare, hi-hat, toms, floor tom, and that's it. Yeah, it was pretty dope. The lead singer was a dope singer. Like, it's a difference when people know how to sing and people know how to, like, a showman. He was a showman and
Yeah.
he knew how to sing. So it was
Yeah.
dope.
That's always the best
Yeah.
when those
Yeah.
two. That's always the best.
Yeah, so this week, yeah, I mixed them last week. I mean, the end of last week, so it was dope.
That's dope. Well, what mic did the lead singer use?
I put a Beta 57 on him.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
So
nice.
I put a Beta 57.
That's super cardio, ain't it?
Yeah, because I had I had regular 58s, so I'm like, man, I'd rather use a Beta 57 with his tone.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I haven't used Betas 57s a lot, but his tone sounded deep. I figured like I heard him singing a little bit, and I used the Beta 57. A lot of people were like Beta 50, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta try
I
that.
used
I
it
ain't even-
by mistake one night because I ran out of mics. So I'm like, man, those vocals came out decent. So
would
I
you
started
say it's
using it.
brighter?
It's basically, it's like the sound is a little bit more focused than like a 58. You can't run into like more feedback problems when you're dealing with like like somebody that want the
They
monitor
wedges
right in front of them
because of that super cardio.
Yeah, because of the super cardio, because it's open in the back. But if you dealing with somebody who like, if they play and they want it on the side, then you
Oh, that's
decent.
beautiful.
Yeah, you decent.
That's good. Now I want to try that now.
Yeah, I want to try that.
I want to try that in the studio too, though, just to see what I can get in the booth.
Yeah, on
out there.
snares though, like they got a more open sound than a 57. They pretty dope on snares. It's like the sound is kind of, you get a little bit a high end bump on them, so it's pretty dope.
Now, just thinking about that, I'm thinking of laying that mic like almost halfway into the snare. So when it hit by it being a super cardioid, I'm getting that, and then I'm getting that decay from the back. You know what I'm
the
saying?
bounce back from the wall.
Yeah, that'd be
definitely.
nuts. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
The only problem with that, like I said, you got to line it up right because it's open on the back, and you already got issues with
Phase.
hi-hat and cymbal bleed.
True.
Right,
So
okay.
that's
So
the only
then-
thing is open up a little bit more than a cardioid.
I definitely want to. Oh, I do. We got some drums coming.
Oh, that's love.
Yes.
That's love. The
Yes.
stew. The stew.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, we gonna be trying that. We definitely gonna be trying that. Yeah, man.
What went on with you this week, Darren? What you got
Man,
going,
I just been working with a few artists, working on 2.
And I seen that
two
video, bro.
projects.
Shout out
Oh,
to you,
yeah,
bro. I
yeah.
seen that. That's
Tiffany.
nice. Yeah,
Tiffany,
that's nice.
she's actually this dope new singer. I've been working with her I've known her for a little while, but we just started working. Amazing voice, amazing process. You know, that's almost just as important as an artist. Like they process in a way,
Right.
you know, like once you as an engineer could get with their process or vice versa, it becomes like a great artist engineer relationship. But like, yeah, she's this new dope artist, and we just been working on records. We haven't necessarily linked into a project, but all of the songs that we've been working on has the potential to be put in one project. So like, I've been trying sort of all of the pieces of gear that we have just to see the right combination for her.
That's dope.
But yeah, so this past week I just been working with her, and then also this other artist named Flex.
Okay.
And just been
I,
working with.
yeah, Flex is nice. I actually did 2 gigs of his at Darien Live Sound.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he
dope.
nice.
Okay.
He nice.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what was that? What was that chain that you was like? All right, this the chain for you.
For Tiffany or
Yeah,
Flex?
no, for Tiffany.
Tiffany. Really, I've been using. So she has a voice where I kind of wanted to use the Slate VMS mic, but
That's bright.
I've been hooked on the C414 because she has such a high, smooth, emotional voice that I needed some sort of body a little bit. So,
I got you. Yep.
So I've been using like the Neve pre to add some body to it, because
Okay,
if I
that's
had
nice.
just the Slate, it'd just be like crisp with no like body to it a little bit.
Right.
And it would have been more like I don't know, I kind of compare the Slate to more so like a C800 in the sense of like the clarity or whatever.
But without
yeah.
the body though.
Yeah, without the body. So yeah, I've been using the C414 with her with the Neve 1073, and it's either the actual piece or I'll even use UAD's version, the
So
Unison version.
have you, now that you said that, do you hear the difference in between the two?
Yeah, I do hear a difference.
And what would be the difference?
And that's we got the AMS Neve just
Yep.
so
yeah,
just
the
so we got
AMS
that.
version.
We don't have the Rupert Neve. We got the AMS Neve.
The difference that I hear is that the plug-in doesn't necessarily emulate the bottom end
Okay.
as much as the actual hardware does.
Okay.
That's what I've noticed personally, but you know, someone else may have a different viewpoint on it, but you know, like that's
But I feel you on that though.
that's my thing that I noticed, and that's why I kind of, you know, as much as people say that plugins have come to the point of hardware, I still
Yeah, it's like 85, 90%.
Yeah, it's not there
Yeah, it's not
100%
100%, but that's the way I feel about my Voxbox, you know?
Uh-huh.
You know what the Voxbox in real life is going to sound like.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
As far as like,
That's amazing.
but you got to think, I look at it like 90% of the Voxbox is better than like 100% of a lot of other
and the
stuff.
thing
so
is,
That's true.
That's the good thing about the Apollo in
true.
general. You get
Right.
to option so many things without having to physically purchase or try them all. So,
Right.
of course, that's the plus. But yeah, so I use the C414 into the Neve and then into the 1176,
Ooh.
and then straight into the the
So that
interface.
1176, man, that's fast.
Yeah.
So was you going
Yeah, I
for
ruined
that
some vocals
that
with
quick
man.
that quick peak smash
Yeah.
with that one?
Yeah, even though she did some songs that were slower, like ballad style, but I made sure I had the attack a little bit slower and the
Okay.
release a little bit slower.
Okay.
Um,
Man, bro, we gotta hear that track.
yeah,
We
definitely.
definitely gotta hear that track, bro.
We'll place
Yeah,
it into
definitely,
Okay,
definitely, yeah. As far as my favorite chain of the stuff that we have, not even just my favorite. What I used in the past week, I used the 414 definitely because the tone of the vocals, I had to use it. It was like she had a lot of body. And I needed some top end sparkle to it, so that's the reason I used it. The 414, you know, it got that bump and like the high mid and whatever. So I used that. I used the Voxbox as my pre, but I did like some jujitsu almost, man. I sent it out of the aux to an output to the LA4 and back in. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to use the Voxbox because I wanted a clean compressor.
Okay.
I could have just used the SSL. Now I'm thinking about it. I could have used the SSL, but I like the Vox box because I didn't use the limiter on the Vox box. I used the LA4 as my limiter.
Right.
So I used slight compression from the Vox box plug-in, and I sent it out of one of the auxes on the console. So I'm doing all this on the console. I sent it back out of an output to the LA4. Like I said, I used the LA4 just to basically just glue and gel it together and back in. And I didn't touch any EQ. I EQ'd a little bit on the Vox box. So like I say, I used the LA4 instead of using the limiter on the LA4. I used on the Vox box, I used the LA4 as my limiter.
The LA4 is beautiful.
Yeah, I recorded
have
like
you
3
used
joints.
that?
That's what I was just about to ask both of y'all. What do y'all all like from the LA4? Because I haven't used it yet.
It's like the LA4 is it's basically an optical that's not tube. So it's slower than like the 1176. I mean, it's fast. Yeah, it's slower. I'm sorry. It's slower than the 1176, but because it's not a tube, it's faster than like an LA2. So
I probably should have tried that on her vocal.
Like,
but the thing is, though, you gotta watch your input.
Yeah, because it's program dependent. It's no threshold.
Yeah,
it's
no
program.
I remember I tried it once.
It's a
and
threshold
I
with
couldn't
no attack.
understand
My
it.
bad. Yeah.
I tried it once and I couldn't understand it. So I was like,
it's program dependent. It's kind of like the
it's dope.
It's kind of like the LA2.
Right,
it's
right.
program
Yep.
dependent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
nice.
according to what you slam into it, how hard it's gonna compress. There's no attack on it.
right.
Think
Okay.
You got a
about-
threshold though. You know what I'm saying?
Just think about the LA3.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it kind of give you that same vibe. It kind of give you that same vibe. But when you run drum, like a kick through it, what you putting in that input with that drive, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was
and
beautiful.
it's different ones too. It's still the same T4 optical cell in it, but it's according to which one. Like we got like an 83. We got one because before they didn't make them so you could stereo link them. So we got one of the ones that you can stereo link. So
Also,
I was just
depending on
wired.
the year of
it's
it as well.
dependent. Yeah, it's
Okay.
like 3 different.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's kind of like the NS10s. It's like 3 or 4 different
Yep.
eras. It's the
Right.
same thing.
I
It's
heard
like 3 or
that,
4
you know,
different
when you
eras.
get something vintage, like a vintage U67 is a bit better than the new
Well,
the
hold on
reissues.
though. Now that you said 67, what we was told was the 67 when they came out was shit. Bro.
Yeah.
That's what I heard as well.
It was
Not even
shit.
just that. Like I remember, oh man, I feel so bad. I forgot his name. I went to a dope event. He was showing us how, like, it's funny. He was an intern under the dude who was an intern who worked for like Ahmad Jamal back in the day. So he was showing us how the trio recorded everything.
Oh, I remember. That was the Ears event.
Yeah. So I'm like, man, this like it's dope in the audio world. Like we literally got a tip from somebody who recorded Ahmad Jamal like 50, 60,
Years
however many years ago. Like we basically he was showing us how we use ribbons. And he was like, man, when I was 18, 17, our tube mics sucked. I don't know why y'all be thinking like they so great. He's like, yeah, when people got them and they reconditioned those like power supplies, he said, but back in the day, you would turn a tube mic on and it might not even work.
Right, right.
Like
okay.
then you SOL, like what you gonna do if the mic just don't turn on?
Right.
That's
Like
true.
so, like it's like a misconception we have like of like the newer engineers. Like we don't realize that like in the 70s and 80s they redid a lot of that stuff. So it might have been a 67 mic, like a 67 or 47 from like the 60s or whatever. But they recondition those power supplies so that they actually work when they come on. Like
Right.
back then, he was letting us know like back then it sucked using two microphones because you would just turn it on, the mic might not even come on for no reason.
So basically, we have the best of both
Oh
worlds.
yeah, we got
Oh,
the
yeah,
best
we
of both
definitely
worlds.
do.
Yeah, it's like anything else. It's like nostalgia, honestly. I believe because like anytime that's the whole thing. Like what those mics cost in our era. So you telling me you get a vintage 67, whatever, what is gonna be 10, 20,000?
Yeah.
You telling me if you buy a $10,000 mic that they manufactured now, it ain't gonna be just as dope? I don't believe that mic from 50 years ago is gonna be better. Like you can't compare it to like a Slate or our 414.
True, 'cause
No,
that was the
you
sound.
compare it
That
to
was-
a mic that's cost $15,000.
Right, right.
Then you know what I'm saying? Like it's just like anything else. It's like it's the level. So if you compare it to a $12,000 mic, like a Flea 47, Come on, that's the best mic I've ever used. Like I ain't used none that sound better than that, and that's being manufactured right now. So
I think my highest level has been probably a U87 maybe. So like 5,000 and under has been my mic lock.
And then with the 87s, it's different eras of those. Like all the 87s we using are like I think 1989 and up because they changed them to the AIs like 1989 or 87 or something like that. So we not using the ones that they used back in the day. We using like
so we can't even compare.
No,
we
can't.
What I mean?
Like,
okay, see, I never even knew that either.
I think ours is a second reissue now if you buy one out the store. But between like 87 and like the late 90s, that's a version.
Okay.
And like now it's a version. So technically, like the real engineers, like old school dudes that was back in the day, they say the ones we got like from 89 on up is not as good as the ones they was using like in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. I actually wanted to get into that conversation of mics too as well because I wanted to know y'all opinion on the Slate, not VMS, but the small pencil microphones that they have. Have y'all?
Nah, I haven't used
Nah,
it.
I ain't used them.
Nah, I'm not.
Just the concept of it.
I'm not gonna use it because I'm like a 57 costs $100. I know what a 57 sound like. Why I want a 57 emulation? That don't even make sense to me.
Yeah, that's true. But I like the concept of it. Like, imagine being able to mic up. You know, he had like that bundle where you could get the interface that is like an 8-channel interface, and then you get 8 microphones with it.
Yeah,
we was there when
he announced.
We was there when he announced it.
I love that because I mean, like, from a practicality standpoint, obviously, it's gonna be a lot of different things that changes that, but like where you can mic the whole drum set with just those microphones, and then you can switch them out depending on if you need like a 87 or a 67 emulation of it.
And that's the dopest part about it, that you can record with it and then switch it out later.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's that is the dopest part about what Slate is doing. He gives you those emulations to where we can record right now with the Slate raw and then just go in there and figure out which one you want.
That's kind of the same reason I like my Vox box, man. Like, cause it's clean. That's what the same.
So
thing
you
with
get
the
to do whatever you need to.
So with the Slate stuff, you can record. You basically that's what you do because you can't. Well, I guess with his interface, I'm not sure if it works like the Antelope or the Apollo, like where you can put the emulation on as you going in. I don't know if it works like that.
I'm not sure yet either.
But
no, you can't.
Oh, you can? Like because you can print with as you record. I mean, I don't mean like how we can put a preamp on a console
and it records
effect.
You
know what I'm saying?
We would have to do that through the aux.
Through an aux,
right.
Unless we got his interface, but just like you said, I don't know how
the interface has that.
The main thing I love about that concept is that, like, for instance, you don't necessarily have to have 2 C414s.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, all of the mics are exactly the same, so you just mic up the drum kit how you will mic a drum kit, but you don't have to worry about, I don't have these 2 mics.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's really what I love from it. So I was like, that'd be a dope investment, especially from a commercial studio standpoint.
From having all these mics on a mobile to where you can set up and just do whatever. Yeah, definitely. From that point of view, you got $50,000 virtual in your book bag. You can go anywhere.
So I thought I wanted somebody else's opinion on it too, just because I was like, that's a dope concept, but I'm not sure how it works in the real world. You know, a lot of stuff is dope concepts, but when it comes to actual like results, I wanted to,
those mods he hit really well, bro.
Yeah. Okay, so
and I'm gonna say that because
we gotta try.
My favorite preamp is a virtual one, so I can't knock it. You know what I'm saying?
I used all his mods on one of my client projects because at the time we didn't have the SM7s,
right?
And he wanted a radio sound. As soon as I hit all them channels with the SM7, it was like, wow, you heard it. You know what I'm saying? You heard it. It was on point.
Yeah, I still haven't.
I'm not gonna say on point, but
like we had this Slate for like a year over. I still haven't used an emulation.
Wow,
not once.
Yeah, I tried it out. It's definitely nice.
It's definitely nice, bro.
That's why, man, that drum setup and then just the concept. Like I'm stuck on it to where like all the mics look exactly the same. You don't have to worry about which mic you grab. You know what I mean?
My thing is though, when we go in there and then we use those modulations, it's like. Now it's like I feel like now my EQ gonna change.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's
you know
true.
What I'm saying? Now the way I approach my EQ is
Oh
different
yeah,
because
it's definitely
that
when you
mic
changing it. Yep.
like that's one of the biggest things I heard. Like, okay, bet, let me switch this out. Whoa, okay, that's a lot.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like slate colors, man.
Right,
Like,
it does a lot.
It colors. It ain't no color pencil. It's a marker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Permanent marker.
It's a
Yeah, it
marker. It colors.
Yeah,
man.
I like to try to
Colors.
get when I'm recording someone. I like to try to get as close to where like it's almost ready. You know what I mean? I like to like even vocalists. Like I want to record them to the point that I don't even have to do much mix.
So do you EQ going in,
No,
or do you just preamp and compress?
preamp compress for sure, but I
don't
always
EQ going
I
in
always
either.
try to use a mic that's gonna complement them well off bat to where I won't have to EQ anything but maybe the room. You know what I mean? Like EQ out
Yeah,
the room.
I don't EQ going in because, man, you in the studio, people smoking and all that. Like I'm hearing things different. I'm getting a high. Like
Yeah.
so, no,
Yeah, you
I'm
may
not
cut
EQing
out too much that you need,
until,
yeah.
I'm not EQ. I'm not even doing even heavy compression.
Yeah.
Because
So,
I realized that
other
about
than high
myself. I'm
pass-
like, man, I was high when I
Other
was
than-
doing this, bro. I wasn't even smoking. He was smoking.
Yeah.
So my chain is I use 3 compressors going in.
I do the same.
Three
Yeah.
compressors going in, and I EQ. But I
Okay.
EQ first because one of these studios that I used to work at, they style of compression was different. How they concept of using it was different
Mm-hmm.
to where it wasn't a compression, it was an EQ.
I can
You
see
know
that.
what I'm
I can
saying?
see.
To where that's the knowledge I have going into Pro Tools.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I hit the 1176, I hit the RNC, you know what I'm saying, or I hit the LA4, you know what I'm saying, and then before all that, it's the EQ first. But depending on the sound, you know, with the Neve, we gonna get that body. You're gonna get the body. You know, I stopped using the slate because it was too bright
Right.
for me for this booth.
Right.
For this booth, it's too bright. But for the other stool we got, I use it just to catch the reverb sound in the room when I record with the 2 mics.
I can see that. I
I
can
use
see.
the slate
Okay,
for
that
that
makes
because it's bigger, it's more brighter, and it's getting everything. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
And the AKG, once again, all 3 of us said the AKG. The
Oh, yeah.
AKG is the go-to.
Yeah,
I love
if,
it.
If you on like, if you don't want something that's like gonna break the bank, but you need something that's
Oh, yeah.
like at the same time some quality enough, the AKG wins every time.
Yeah, because it's so many uses on it, man. Like
Yeah.
you use it, and then because you got to understand, it's one of the first. If you build in the studio, when it's time for you to buy a decent microphone, the AKG, the 414 is always the best choice in my opinion.
But this is the
because-
thing, though, because now they got the 214 and the 314.
No, I'm buying the 414.
Yeah,
Okay,
the four.
but-
Yeah,
I've
because
tried
I
the
had
two,
somebody-
not
I-
even
I've
the
tried the
XLS,
214.
the XLS2. That's the one.
Okay.
I tried the 214 before, and hearing the 14, or I mean the 414,
Yeah.
it's like that extra $100, $300 or whatever, or
Right.
it may be even an extra $500. It's worth it, or like a lot
Right.
more.
Okay,
Yeah, 'cause
so
I look at it because what I was saying, my bad, not to cut you off.
No, you good.
Is if you building your studio, you serious about this? The first good mic should be that mic because the reason I look at that, because no matter if you build to the level where you United or East West or something, you're gonna
gonna
use
need
them
that.
for overheads or
Yeah.
something. Even if you got an 87 eventually or 47,
Yeah.
like if you got a 314, you're not gonna use that mic again when you start getting past that level.
And for all
That's
the
how I look at
genres,
it.
all the genres,
All
like
the
it
genres,
spans across all genres.
Because
you know?
we used it for like a kick, like to get the attack on the kick one time, like behind the drummer. Like I've used it for
Oh,
14
man,
for all
bro.
type of stuff.
Yeah,
man.
I
So-
see people use.
hey, man,
the,
we got some drum tricks, bro.
I see people use the stereo pair obviously for overheads, and then
Right.
I've seen them use it for piano.
I've used
Like,
it for hi hats, everything, bro.
it's
Like,
so- I feel like
just
it's so
I've mic'd it on
versatile.
pianos too. Working up
Yeah.
at Ivy Lab, I mic'd a lot of pianos.
Violin.
We've used 414.
Violin,
yeah.
we did violin
Whole
with Mo.
string sections.
Yep.
We put
Yeah,
up
we
all
recorded Mo with the
414s and
violin.
like we had like 4 or 5 414s and like 2 or 3 ribbons, and that was it. We got the whole like 9-piece
Yeah, that
string set. Matt
414.
Jones, like I helped Mike some of the stuff that he won some Grammys off of last year.
That
Like,
414 crazy.
It's crazy,
Yeah,
man.
it is. And the polling pattern just helps it out even more.
It's got so many options. I didn't even think about the options.
Yeah.
I kind of neglect that, or like not neglect it. I overlook it. I overlook how how many options you have. Like I almost plug
start
it in
using,
and forget
start
about
using
that.
the other room because you're gonna use all those options.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
I
other
need
one I
to
need to
start
start
using
using
that
that
one.
more. I'm just too
Yeah, I
comfortable.
got to, bro.
I'm just too comfortable.
That room gives you so much versatility. Each wall gives you a different sound, bro.
Yeah,
It's
you right.
crazy
You right.
in there.
Man, I
It's
got
Right, I
crazy
got
to
lazy,
in there.
man. I got lazy since
It's
since,
crazy.
since I left Ivy. I've been kind of lazy, not been miking stuff exactly the same in the same spot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But, you know, over there,
I've
you
been
don't
that
got
way.
a choice. You got to figure it
Yeah,
out. Like,
yeah, you gotta figure it
like
out.
You got to figure
That's
something
what I
out.
love,
Like
bro.
the piano might be there and it can't be moved
And
for 2 weeks, so you got to figure out how to work around it.
Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
yeah. And the main reason why I did that, because when we went to AES, bro, we heard JJP talk, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And his thing was walk in that room, man, and have your client talk. You know what I'm saying? And find that sweet spot. And he said, marry that mic with that pre. And there you go.
That's another
There
question
you
I
go.
have for
Marry
both
that
of
mic
y'all.
with that pre.
So a lot of people talk about specific mics for an artist, but do
Right.
you all find getting certain tones? What's your thought process when you're picking out a preamp? Because right now we have unlimited ones on the actual console, but then we had a SSL, we had a
Sound.
VMS, and
Sound.
we had a Neve.
Whatever sound we going for.
yeah.
Whatever
Yeah.
sound we going for.
Cause cause basically the preamp and the mics should work together because sometimes the preamp can be adding what the mic is lacking.
Right. And
Use
that's the
that
way that I
verse.
look
Use
at
that.
it. That's the way that I look at it.
That drive is gonna bring out those extra harmonics in it.
That's why I like the
When you put that
SSL.
drive. Yeah.
a
Oh,
little
I
bit,
love
you
it.
know what I
SSL,
mean?
yeah.
And
I love
I
it.
used the SSL last session I had with the 7B, and it's like
Yes.
I didn't know how that combination would go, but with the right artist, it fit real well.
So when I think of the pre's we got, I'm looking at the Neve as okay, cool, warm body, slate, transient, just clear as possible.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So with that going in mind, now I know which mic I want to use. Once I hear that vocalist or that rapper rap,
Right.
I know, okay, cool. This the mic I want to use, and then I'm gonna add it with this clarity preamp. You
Oh,
know what
okay.
I'm saying? And then I'm gonna dirty it up with this compressor. You know
Okay,
what I'm
I see
saying?
that.
And just keep going from there. That's how I build mines like that.
I might have to start thinking like that because I don't think that far. I think like, okay, if I need a little body, I use this preamp. If I just wanted it clear, and two, it's like the genres of music.
Yeah,
like,
that's a
honestly,
big one.
because before I think we only had like 2 preamps, man. That's what prompted me to say, man, we need the SSL because I was working on this EDM track, and it was like this singer, songwriter, and she was like here recording just vocals. And when we stripped that beat away, oh man, like I felt so like what? What is this? Like because I'm recording a straight tube, driving
Right.
the tube, like
Right.
trying to get it to sound warm and no. She needed straight vocals. So all you need to hear is the vocal and the effects, the
Right.
the reverb. I mean the reverbs and the delay throws you doing. So when we stripped the beat away, I'm like, nah, we got to get cleaner preamps, man.
Yeah, I
Like,
think that SSL is so clean.
yeah, we got to get cleaner. So,
Yeah, man. Me and Vo, bro, we'll go back and forth on gear for like 3 months, man. We'll go back and forth on, yo, check this out. Yo, check this out. You know what I'm saying? Until it's like, all right, it's this one.
I
this
think-
one won.
Yep.
Let's get it.
It's gonna do this, and this.
I know
it's like a checklist thing type
Let's
of thing.
get it.
I feel like the next preamp that I've been looking at that I'm not sure what it's doing, but I like it.
Let me see what you finna say.
Well, I know that we've been talking about like the Shadow Hills.
Oh, yes. Hey,
but-
Fox, I'm coming for it.
but I like the Chandler.
Oh, see, Fox told me about that one
The
too, bro.
Chan- Chandler.
TGs. Yeah, I like the T. I
I've
like
been
the,
at
That's
a
EMI.
spot.
That's
the-
EMI.
what you
Okay.
call it, I like the Abbey Road stuff.
Yeah.
Chandler. I mean, even if you look at on their plugins or even their bigger pieces like the Curve Bender or the Zenith
Right.
Limiter, they like crazy pieces. I feel like Chandler is one of those companies that they don't really get a lot of love, but also they got like a lot of great gear. You know, a lot of SSL and Neve get so much love, but like I feel like Chandler is like one of those.
Because I
we
feel
used
like
them
the-
before,
that's the body right
running
there.
snares and stuff through 'em.
Like that's the
Definitely.
basic foundation to me when you speak of recording. Like your main 3 is gonna be API, SSL, Neve.
Yep,
Like,
those the main.
it's
three.
like you know those. if like those are the foundation,
That's
everything
Nike,
just bounce
Apple,
off that.
and those the cream of the crop. Yeah,
exactly. So when somebody, for me, API has more body than Neve.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But SSL is cleaner than both of those.
Yeah.
And then
agree.
that Neve gives me more. It don't give me more body than the API, but it gives me just more warmth. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe high mids to where that API is gonna give me those low mids. You know what I'm saying? I can run a snare drum and a kick and know I'm gonna have that bad boy punching.
Yep.
Just off running it through there.
Yep.
But through the Neve, I might have to add a little compressor to that with the Neve. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
On something like that. That's just
dope.
mine behind that.
So basically, we're gonna get into our topic of the week. We were discussing like low end.
Yes.
How do you manage your low end?
Ooh, man.
How do you manage
Man.
all your
Who gonna go
frequencies
first?
lower than like 500 in my opinion? Because I don't know, people don't look at like all the way up to like 300. If it's 20K, up to 500 can be considered as low end.
Yeah,
you know what
it
I'm saying?
can.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
like even when I look at everything under 500 as my low end because I'm going to use it all, even though typically you wouldn't think all the way up there. But if I'm working on some hip hop stuff with like 808s and all that, I need my kicks to be doing something up in the 200-300 range,
Right.
like so they can sit right.
Right.
So I don't just look at low end everything under 200. I look at low end like everything under 500.
Okay.
Even my reverbs and delays. I don't want any low end on those, so I cut everything over 500. You know what I'm
I
saying?
cut all that.
So 500 is a magic number to me. It's like everything under 500, I treat like it's low end.
Okay.
Like I might process like stuff under 200 different, but I still put that same focus everything over 5. So because I want all my kicks and all my bass and everything to sit well. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Right.
Okay. When it comes like for me, wow, it really depends. Nowadays with the producers that's producing now, it's really about the sound that they give us, man. Because sometimes they 808s be distorted.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
They be distorted, man. And it's
We just
and
had
then
that
it's only-
conversation.
Yeah.
And it's only so much that you can do. So one of the tools that I've been doing is I've been running it through the MPEG amp from UAD
Okay.
for my low end, just to kind of even shape it better than what they sent it to me as.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I shaped that to where I put a dip in the 60 so my kick can so I basically curved that out, you know what I'm saying, for the 808 to just kind of kiss the behind of that kick,
Right.
to where that kick punch at that 60 and up, you know what I'm saying? That's how I treat mine. But yeah, it really depends on those producers, man. Cause even sometimes side chaining, it might drown it too much. So it's like, dang, you hearing it duck. Like I don't want to hear it duck as much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate hearing stuff duck like that. Yeah, you're right.
That's too much.
It had to be natural. I mean, you said everything that I was really agreeing with and thinking of. But my thought process, I guess, behind when I'm thinking of low end, I do two separate things. When I'm listening to it, I'm already thinking in my head, like, if I'm gonna just leave it how it was. Like sometimes if it's like 85% there what the producer did, I just don't touch it because I already know that I may mess it up, or I make the decision of I'm gonna completely go in and surgically do some stuff to it. And if I surgically do something to it, I may even have a duplicate track of the bass,
Yep.
and then with one of them, I may add like a distortion plug-in to it and emphasize it so that like the computer headphones or your iPhone could even hear crunch of like where the bass supposed to be,
Right.
and get that Travis Scott type sound.
Right.
And then the side that still got the real sub low to it, I'll just throw an R bass on it and like lower it obviously a bit more. But
So I'm hoping it's the part where Vo finna tell y'all about his plug-in that he uses for that low end.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess it'd be it's definitely my producer tool of the week since we bringing up low end. It's called Mongoose. It's by Boss Digital. It's one of the best because basically you could throw it on your master and it basically you tell it what frequency and it basically it's like a crossover and it cuts the low and the high. So you could fold everything, basically everything under that frequency folds. So basically you can, what's so dope about it is you can fold everything under 120 and like basically spread out everything else over.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
It's pretty
nasty.
dope. It's called
nasty.
Mongoose. Yeah, it's pretty.
It's nasty.
I got it for like $40 too, man. Like I'm a savage when it comes to like buying cheap plugins. Like I watch something forever until it go on sale and then buy it. So that's one of the ones I caught. Like anything Boss Digital does, man, to be honest, I think they probably make some of the best plugins. It's just like they low key and like because I use like one of the other ones even for low end, like Sasquatch. Like basically my low end is like Boss Digital, man, because they got one called Sasquatch where you can add. It's like kind of like low air on waves, but you could tell it what frequency. Like I'm not just adding low. No, I'm gonna add the low note of G. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can program what frequency you wanted to add. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds
it's pretty
cool.
dope, man. It's crazy. So those two, Boss Digital, they dope.
That's what's up.
That's what's up, man. So this is Volcano Beats, the Sampler King, man.
Fam North.
And Darian Mixes.
We out, man. The Stew.
Peace.